All right, let's see if I fuck up my color balance again. Welcome, friends, to part 2 of the best Surefire muzzle device for your suppressor. And by part 2, I mean I went over the 3-prong versus the 4-prong versus the closed-tine war comp versus the CAC muzzle device. And in that video, I stated that the Surefire muzzle brake and then the closed-tine war comp were the best muzzle devices for suppressor life. And a lot of people didn't understand that, and it's also a knowledge gap on forums and all sorts of other stuff. So we're gonna quantify that because you don't know what you don't know, right? And I had to learn it myself because I was like, what the hell does a muzzle device matter? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. And then someone's like, come here, boy. And then they taught me what was going on. So I'm going to do my best to show you on camera what I'm talking about. So let's say I have a Surefire RC2, allegedly, and it lives on my 4-prong, because that's what it's for. Oof, look at all that copper, I gotta get that off there. Anyhow, clean your stuff. The first baffle has, it's kind of hard to see, let me get the hot spot in there. Might be too, there we go. See that cute little cross in there with the 4 faces of the tines of the muzzle device? Do you know what that's from? Come on, color balance, you can do it. Do you know what that's from? It's from the pressure associated with the muzzle blast into the first baffle. Color balance fixed. Okay, why is that important? You may ask. Well, some of us are not made of money, and while I'm not a poor, I'm also not a rich. So because I'm not a rich man, I like to increase the longevity of my equipment. I also pride myself on taking care of my equipment. Why then would I use a muzzle brake or a closed-tine war comp over the other Surefire muzzle devices? So just for reference, from best to worst is going to be your Surefire muzzle brake, then your CTN, then your regular 3-prong war comp with the ports, then it's a toss-up between the non-war comp 3 and 4-prong Surefire muzzle devices. The reason for that is because if you look at the front of your Surefire muzzle brake, you'll see that it's flat, and the only pressure that can escape forward is through the hole designed for the bullet to fly through. So it follows the bullet through the suppressor, and the rest of the pressure, as a lot of you who have stood next to somebody who has one of these know very well, will never forget, the rest of the pressure will go out of the sides. So a Surefire muzzle brake will send the pressure out and around and behind the front of this muzzle brake without sending it into the back of the first baffle, like my 4-prong does for my can, which is dedicated to my URGI. So, since we've documented that and how that works, how then does a CTN do it? Because it looks like it's not gonna do the same thing the Surefire muzzle brake does. And you would be correct, kind of. If you look down the front of your closed-tine war comp, you'll notice that the pressure will be dissipated and even. So you're going to have your ports doing what they do. Ooh, and hitting the camera. And then you have very large ports to do that. And the front of it is even. So what pressure is left will be dispersed evenly for the most part. Not as evenly as the Surefire muzzle brake, but evenly on the back of the first baffle of your can. And because it's not so hyper-focused like the 3-prong war comp, the 4-prong and the 3-prong tuning forks, you'll notice that when you take the can off, it's very evenly distributed. Whereas I run this again exclusively on my 4-prong, and that's the shape that you get. So eventually in time, I'll probably kill the URGI well before that RC2, but with extended protracted use on your 3-prong war comps or your other Surefire muzzle devices other than these two, you will see some fantastic shapes on the back of that front baffle, which is uneven pressure, which is why we're here. So hopefully this video helped. Again, if you're not the target audience for this, you're gonna hate this video, and I'm so sorry. Does this video mean that because you have a 3-prong, a 4-prong, or a 3-prong war comp that you're an idiot? No. But in the comments, don't talk shit to the people that have figured this out either. So, which has happened, and it was very embarrassing for them when people in the industry came out and were like, no, yeah, that's real. So don't tell people to get out of these to get into a 3-prong. The 3-prong may work better without one of these, but with this, you kind of want to keep that can in the front of your mind. So this first baffle is important. Let's not take her to Pound Town if we don't have to, which is why I'm going to stick with brakes and CTNs when I can. But until I start, I'm probably going to be getting 1 suppressor a year moving forward, just to protect my bank account, and I do have to adult. To ensure the longevity of your equipment, it's good to know these little things. And again, these Surefire cans are very, very, very rugged, and they have really long service lives. You will probably die before you kill a can unless you have a baffle strike. So, or you just put it on a machine gun and cook it to death until it explodes. But save those too. The regular average person with a semi-automatic rifle that's not just constant, well, even doing mag dumps, you're not going to be able to get to the cyclic rate of fire. But just keep that in mind. And there's always those what if dudes out there. And there's also the people that are like, well, if it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter, you know, like I have a 3-prong and I'm never gonna shoot that much, so it doesn't matter. Well, you're probably right, but again, don't talk shit to these people, all right? And I'm not smarter for having figured this out. I want everybody to know that. Somebody took me aside and taught me. So I'm just putting that information out there because it seems like there's a gap in that information. So I don't want you to think, oh, I'm smart, let me teach you retards. No, it's, hey, someone took the time to tell me, I'm gonna explain why I said what I said. So that's the point of this video. If you run one of these, like a 10.5 with a muzzle brake without a can, I hate you, and have a great day.